here's the big question. How are entrepreneurs like us, who have been hustling and struggling to make it to success, who seem to make it one step forward only to fall two steps back, who are dedicated, determined, and driven? How do we finally break through and win? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brian Kelly, and this is the Mind, Body, Business Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind, Body, Business Show. Oh, my goodness. I'm coming to you live from Florida for the first time as a resident of the state, and really enjoying it so far. We just arrived July 4th. We have a fantastic show for you lined up here tonight, and I cannot wait to dig into Daniel Hanneman's big, beautiful brain and extract the wonderful business juices he has available for you right now that will help you propel yourself, your business, and your life forward faster. That's what this show is all about. It's about bringing on and showcasing successful entrepreneurs from all over the world. And I have the distinct pleasure of bringing on people like Daniel week in and week out. And I'm so appreciative that he's here. He's in the green room waiting. He's clawing at the glass saying, let me in. I want to talk. I want to help share my value right now. He'll come on just here in a few moments. The Mind, Body, Business Show. That is a show that I had developed with you in mind. And that is the business person, the entrepreneur who's looking for additional tips and value and secrets to get to that next step a little bit faster, because we can do all this on our own. We all have those abilities, but why would you want to when you can just rely on and leverage the individual's experience like Daniel's, what they've gone through, what strategies have they implemented that have worked, what marketing approaches have they utilized that have worked, how did they get so successful? And then all you have to do is take what they are telling you here on this very show and first take notes, write it down, and then put them into action. And that is what this is all about. It's here to help you to take your business and propel it to the next level. It has helped me immensely personally because of the fact that I interview all these amazing entrepreneurs. I've gotten so many valuable tips and strategies from them directly. And so the Mind, Body, Business Show is literally about the three pillars of success. And those are mind, which is mindset. And what that means is successful individuals. These are people I had studied for over 10 years, specifically successful people. They each had a very powerful, positive, and most importantly, flexible mindset and body. Each of these individuals that I studied also to a person took care of themselves physically through exercise and nutrition. That simple. And then business is very multifaceted. It involves mastering various skill sets that help you to build a successful business. So skill sets, what kind? Like marketing, sales, team building, systematizing, leadership. I mean, I could go on for quite some time. The good news is, well, if you think about it, mastering any one skill set or any one thing, as you know, being astute, can take a very long time. The good news is you don't have to master even every one of the ones I just mentioned, even though there are many more that go beyond that. In fact, there is one of them that I mentioned, though. If you master just that one, then you can leverage all of the rest into the fold. And that one skill set, if you just concentrate on it and it alone, will give you that head start that you're looking for. And that is the skill set of leadership. And yes, even if you do not have a team yet. So master leading yourself and do that as if you were an employee of your own company, and start reading books on leadership. If you haven't started, if you have, continue reading books on leadership and get really good at becoming an effective leader. And that way you can leverage and bring in those people that have mastered those skill sets that you have not yet or may never, because of just time, master yourself. So there you go. Leadership is that one skill set. And another phenomenal trait of the most successful people I've run into is that also to a person, they are very avid readers of books. And with that, what I'd like to do is segue into a very brief segment I like to call bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by reachyourpeaklibrary.com.
Yes, there you see reachyourpeaklibrary.com. And again, one quick side note, I want to make a very important announcement, if you will, here. And that is, when you see resources like this on this show, when you hear about resources like a web address or a book title, rather than succumbing to that urge to go type it into your browser and click away and go check it out while the show is going, I would urge and implore upon you to instead get out that good old fashioned pen and pencil and a notebook, notepad, or anything that you take notes on. It can be on your computer as well, but instead take notes, write them down, and then visit them after the show's over. The reason I bring that up is I used to speak on stage quite a bit, and I would notice back in the early days when I'm getting to that really good part, I know this is the most impactful part. I would see on occasion someone would get up out of their chair and leave the room. That all important text came in, or they had to go use the restroom. It doesn't matter what the reason is my gosh, they could be missing out on that one golden nugget that could change their life forever for better. And I would hate for that to happen to you, because I know Daniel Hanneman is going to have many of these golden nuggets throughout tonight's show. And I would hate for you to miss one single one of them. So please do yourself a favor and take notes and write down the resources as we go, including reachyourpeaklibrary.com. Yes, I am going to talk about it a little bit. Reachyourpeaklibrary.com is a website that I literally had put together with you in mind. And the reason is because I found out myself, by not being an avid reader until about the age of 47. So that's about 11 years ago. I'm pausing so you can do the math. I know you all want to know. And, but the thing is, when I started doing it, when I started reading finally, voraciously, then my life started changing for the better. And so I started compiling all the books that I personally read and vet. So not every book I've read is in this library, only those that have had profound impact either on my business life or my personal life, or both. They are in here in no particular order. And this is not a site here designed to make money for my company. If you see a book you want, go find it on whatever platform you like to purchase your books from, whether it's Audible, Amazon, Kindle, physical book. Those buy here buttons will take you to Amazon. If you want to go there, go ahead and click the buy here button. But the point is, find a book that jumps off the page to you, that really resonates. They're not in alphabetical order, not by author. Most of them, they're just in the order that I read them, pretty much. And then I had my team drop them in the site, and just find that one book and pull it up, read it, and then put it into action, and then pick up the next book. Come back to Reach Your Peak Library. That is a free resource for you. Costs you nothing whatsoever to come to the site, and then it costs you a little bit for the books wherever you decide to go get those books. In any place you go get them is perfectly fine with me. Speaking of being perfectly fine with me, oh yeah, it is time to bring on, you know who. It is our very special guest expert. His name is Daniel Hanneman. He's coming on right now.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it is the one. It is the only Daniel Hanneman.
Thank you, Brian. I'm so glad to be here. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, man, we are going to have a blast, my friend. This is going to be, like you said, it's going to be a ton of fun. We're going to have fun, and we're also going to give the audience a great show, because I already know by talking to you just before we started the show that you ooze with value, that folks are going to get a lot from listening to you, and they will be able to take it a long way. And before we jump right in and really start extracting that beautiful knowledge from you, I'd like to really quickly give folks a quick idea of where you come from, and introduce you properly and formally. Would that be cool with you, Daniel?
That's great. Thank you.
All right. Daniel John Hanneman is an intuitive business alchemist. You heard that right. That is a very cool thing. He is an intuitive business alchemist and coach that helps you create your first spiritual or transformational business successfully in a custom tailored way for your unique purpose. He also works with multi 6 and 7 figure businesses to realign their mission to business structures for greater long term impact and growth. That is it. And this is Daniel Hanneman. Oh, this is going to be fun, Daniel. So, one of the things I love to open every show with is, you're an entrepreneur. You've been down this road, and you know how when you get up every morning and the day just goes by so smoothly every single day. There's never a bump in the road.
Never. Yeah, it's
Never.
so
Yeah,
easy. It's so
exactly.
easy. I don't know why everybody isn't on the bandwagon. It's just so easy. Yeah.
And that's exactly it. There aren't that many entrepreneurs percentage wise in the world for that very reason, is because it's the exact opposite. There's always a fire to put up, there's always an arduous task ahead of us, there's always a problem to solve. That is what makes an entrepreneur an entrepreneur. And I was curious with you, Daniel. I always love to open a show asking a deep question of, when you get up in the morning and you know what's ahead of you. You know what happened yesterday. You know what's going to happen today. And then there are things you don't know that are going to happen today. But when you get up knowing that all of these setbacks and things that are going to knock you back are coming, what keeps you driven? What is going on in your big, beautiful mind when you get up in the morning that keeps you driven, keeps you going, no matter what? What is that for you?
I think for me, it's more ultimately about staying connected and staying present than it is about, okay, any other motivator, like, oh, I'm gonna we'll persevere, or all those other ideas. Like, that's all true, but the first thing is just realizing, no matter what happens today, life's beautiful, life is good, because I'm connected with that beautiful wonder that is life itself. And so no matter what happens, I know it's going to be great, because if so-called disasters come up based on my perception, I know that I'll gain and learn something from them 1,000,000%. And I know if beautiful things happen, I'll get to celebrate those as well. But I'm all in for the journey of it, knowing that if you're, in a place of growth with your business, typically you're going to face uncomfortable things every single day. I mean, the idea of doing this today is uncomfortable in a way, because it's a new venue. I haven't been with Brian before. I don't know what to expect, right? So even that, it can present a sense of challenge. You got to get your lighting in this certain area, and I had to do certain things today. Like, even those littler things are, all these things stack up. I came from another call before this, and I had a sales pitch to do, so to speak, to an audience. And before that, I had a bunch of projects to do. It goes on and on, right? And so I came into this day thinking, wow, what huge opportunity, and wow, kind of scared, and but most days tend to be that when you're in growth mode, right? When you're if it's easy, that means you're probably not making any money, and you're upset then. So I say, go into growth mode. It's more exciting. It's better to take the risks and go into growth mode. That is something I do embrace as well, and I have fun with it. It's another thing, and I think it really helps. It's not one thing, but I would say that if it was one thing, it's just like, I'm the presence itself. Everything's awesome no matter what, ultimately, and that's how I like to roll.
And that's a strategy for success right there. I've heard this so many times. I follow it myself. But are you a human being, Daniel? I mean, do you ever get down a little bit when things go wrong?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think what's changed over the years, when you do, personal work, and then personal, you do personal development work, or whatever you want to call it, spiritual work, you do, you just, again, you're just amplifying that through the roof when you're in business. That's all. You're just amplifying through the roof. It's a mass accelerator. You want to know what it feels like to experience the dark night of the soul, like, countless times. Just start a business. That's how you do it. That's how a lot of us do it anyway. And yeah, I understand, like, some people have good businesses where they're not as sweating it, maybe, but most of us are sweating it a lot, much more so than what you see portrayed in the public often. Like, I got all down. Yeah, I talk to the same people backstage. It's not what you think. Even people say they got all dialed in. It's usually never that way.
Yeah, it's interesting. No matter how much money one makes or how successful they are, when the rubber meets the road, every single one of them are also human beings, and they don't experience anything different than we do. those that are more successful financially, they just know how to make more mistakes faster and get past them faster. And they do a lot of things where they whittle down their list of people that they're willing to hang out with and spend time with on the tasks that they're willing to spend time on. They figured out a way to really optimize their time every day during their life, and they will fire friends and do things that are necessary for them to get ahead. And if someone's bringing them back or pulling them down, they will just move on. And it just that takes time and to learn, and I'm getting better at myself. It's like I don't have time, and I'm sorry, but it's not going down. You're not supporting my path, not because you just have to support me. It's because I need to do something that does relate into something that is supportive one way or another. If it's going to, grow the business and move my life forward faster, hopefully it will bring them along with me. That's how I like to operate is anything I do, I want it to improve their life. And I know that's what you do, Daniel. And that's why I love having you on, because what you do is you help people from a deep perspective, from a mind perspective. That's why it's so intriguing what you do. And this is probably, I mean, it's early in the show, but I really want to know. I'm very, very curious how, what it is you do for people. I know it includes meditation and mind work and things like that. And that's very near and dear to me because I have NLP and hypnosis background. So if you don't mind, we'll just jump into that. I was going to hold this off for later, but this will give people a great idea of what it is you do, what services you provide to the people that you serve. I know it's going to be a three-part question, so I'll help you if it eludes you. And and what is your target market? What kind of people do you help? Is it business professionals? Is it moms and dads? Is it, what is it? And then finally, if you have a success story or two that you'd like to share with everyone, we'd all love to hear that as well, if that would be all right with you.
Perfect. I can actually, I think I might remember all three of those questions. I'm the same way I asked, I carpet bomb people with questions. You're so enthusiastic, right? We want to know everything. Right now. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I think one of my unique traits is that I hold a space to see people, and I have an ability to just tune into people and to know who they are. And from that space, I can see what would really enliven their business and their lives more. So I can sense, like, if they already have a business, I can sense where there's hesitation. I literally scan in, not to their mind, but their energy field, which becomes their mind, right? At the same time, their consciousness. But so I tune in and I do, what some people might think are weird things, but I tune into their chakras and into their overall field and space, and I can see what's going on for them. I can see their deep wounding. I can see their gifts. I can see like if something happened to them earlier in their life. I could describe a scene sometimes down to the T, sometimes, not every single time. But, I can really dial in what's going on, and then I can dial in who they're meant to help, how they're meant to serve people, then to dial in the strategy. Okay, here's the strategy. It's collaborative. I'm not just telling them, but, I'm getting the downloads and we flesh it out in a conversation. And what I do is I used to do a lot more with the, a lot of energy work. And I have a hypnosis background as well and all that. But what I found is that from this place of really holding people in a deeper space, there's these shifts happening already, in consciousness and energy, just from me downloading things and working with them and the way I talk. And then I also do formal processes that help to flip people's energies from like, oh, we can't do it, I'm scared, to yes, of course, let's go now. Like, to get their energy flipped right around in a short period of time, right on the spot. So what I do is really to help see who you are, what wants to happen in your business, what your unique purpose is, your unique contribution, what the big vision is for your contribution, and start pointing you in that direction. And therefore, if that's where it wants to go, then what are the very next steps? And to help them to do it in a way that where they're connected, right? Where they're trusting their connection with their I want to say infinite intelligence, right? We're being downloaded in a way, right, by life itself, and life force itself is informing what wants to happen. But often, because we're scared, oh my God, I see a shadow. Oh my God, what is that? What is that? maybe I should do that. Oh my God, they're telling me maybe I should do this. Like these marketers online, that just are putting out information, lots of stuff. People get overwhelmed, and I'm like, shh, listen, let's listen. And that's where the meditation comes in. Let's listen, practice listening. Listen to where you're getting to lean in, get into your power, get into your body, get into your intuition, follow that. We can flesh out the rest. I mean, I have the 17 years of experience of being online with business and helping businesses. So I can help dial in some of those other things, tactics, things like that. But first thing is getting connected energetically so you can really be yourself, and then working on the tactics. And the people I help are the coaches, are the healers, are the thought leaders, people like that, people that are those type of people. And often they're high achievers, people that have had success with other things and they want to get their business going. Maybe they've kind of started it, but they haven't really got it off the rails yet. Or they have got it to a level, maybe 6 figures, but they're feeling kind of not fully connected with their business still. But success is so easy to them because they're so powerful. But then I help them to really, one of my big things is to help people trust their power, to trust their deeper power, realize it's okay to be themselves and to be visible and really come out strongly with whatever their true message is in the world. And then to bring their offers, alongside of that, if we need to, make them stronger, their current offers or programs, or if they need to be overturned altogether, right? So whatever that is. So I do that. And I also help more advanced business owners. I also help strategically with that kind of process and energetically, but also I help them. Often it's more for me with those people, they know a lot about business, but they need the energy shifts. They need the energy shifts. They can't seem to get past something. And then when I work with their energy, they get that, and I can see them, I witness them, and I flip their energy, and all of a sudden they start making more money. Like this is maybe kind of a small example, but recently I worked with somebody over just one session even who's made millions online, per year. And things had not been, at the level where they had been previously. And we did one session, and within a month, like things had changed. Like he's making new offers again, he's selling again. Like it wasn't just me, but like some of the energy I gave him that momentum that put him on track again. So, and then other times I'm helping clients, build out their funnels and everything, whatever, the whole 9 yards because I'm a channel. I can just tune in and just channel copy and channel messages and, iron all those things out as well. So, those probably aren't my biggest like cases, but like I have taken powerful people from like welfare and drugs, like in one case to, 6 figures and beyond, like online and, doing their purpose, like really being who they are. And, I love doing that. I love doing that for people at any age. And I probably kind of extra love doing it sometimes with people that are like in their 20s and 30s, younger people, because it's exciting. Like, I got you while you're young. Now you're going to get lots of momentum going into the rest of your business life and your life overall. And it's really exciting. So I answered most of your questions. I think I did forget one after sharing all that stuff. But wait, what was your other question? I think you had one more.
If you had a specific success story.
Oh, yeah, I did get all 3. Okay, all right. Yeah, that's fine.
So, when did you realize you had this gift to be able to channel into someone else's energy and figure this stuff out?
That's a good question. It's just like as a kid, I was able to just kind of know things sometimes. And for me, it was like sports, like predicting things, like here in Chicago, like in 82 or something like that. I was like, Bears are going to win the Super Bowl in like 5 years or less. I could feel it. It's coming. And they were a horrible team at the time. And then sure enough, it happened. And I literally had made a bet with somebody and they had to pay up. I'm like, remember, I told you 3 years later, I get pay me up. And other times I would do that. I'm not perfect. I don't dial it in perfect every time, but I tend to be good at that. I don't do it anymore because I get too obsessed with it. But like fantasy football, things like that. So I learn, like, I'm a powerful channeler. I focus that energy. Monopoly, like I know the right negotiations. I know the right moves. I'm just like, this board is mine. Like, but but I don't. I kind of got away from some of that stuff because it gets a little too aggressive. But what I like to do is get aggressive about helping people to get out of their BS and to shift their energy. And so it's not, I'm a soft guy at one level, but I'm also like very tenacious and it'll be very tough, very strong with people at the same time. So it's kind of a mix. That's where the alchemy comes in. It's like, come on, let's go. Other times it's like, hey, relax, everything's good, chill out. So it's whatever the person needs on their journey. We need all the elements, right? The air, the water, the whatever, the earth energy, fire, whatever, everything. We need all these different, all the elementals. And, without directly working on the elementals, that's what I'm doing. And the people I work with often are lacking, in my case, in my audience is the fire and steel. They're weak on that. Like, I've tested it again and again. They're weak on fire and steel. They're like, well, I don't know if I can trust this power I've got, and I know that feeling. It's something I'm still moving through, I'm sure, and it's like, we just have to realize, no, trust that. And you get to contribute to people. You get to, like you say, Brian, you get bringing your value that way by trusting your power, your expression. And yeah, not everybody's going to agree with you. Not everybody's going to like it. That's okay. They can just click off, right? Or whatever. No big deal. But the people that need it, like, that literally could save their life. That could literally change their life today if you just show up and you just start being you and not holding back. So I talk a lot to my clients about like that. Share the message you want to share. You want to go politics, and then just reconnect it to your essential message, right? Whatever you want to get into, let's get into it so those messages can circulate and we can shift consciousness that way.
Interesting. So it sounds like the results come pretty quickly.
They can. Everybody's different. I would say sometimes they come quickly. Some of my clients had temporary plateaus. One of my clients, like, he wasn't being consistent in manifesting, but his overall results weren't like really robust for the first, 6 months to a year, whatever it was. But now he's tripling his business, so, sometimes it's a process of continuing to chop that tree down, so it's like, whoop, I'm ready to grow now. Boom, it goes through the roof. So, and other times you're right. It could be like, they're nowhere. And then we work together for a brief period of time and then all of a sudden they spark and they take off. So it varies. I'm not a sensationalist. Like, oh yeah, overnight, everybody, no way.
Well, and it's probably a little bit of a give and take too. You give them the guidance if they don't follow through on the
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I do often say that. I don't want to use this as an excuse, but typically a lot of times when clients aren't succeeding, it's because they haven't listened to me, quite frankly. Like, did you do this? Did you do that? No, but I did these other two things. Yeah, but you didn't do those other things. So you got to take all those steps. If you start taking all those steps, you're going to see more success. So that's why I love helping high achievers. People that want to screw around, forget it. This isn't for you. Maybe go work for somebody else because you're not going to make it. You're not going to ever hit that unless you just kind of want to have a few clients and mess around. That's fine if that's what brings you joy, and you could so you survive that. Maybe you're getting more money somewhere else. But if you actually want to thrive in a business, you have to be, as we say, all in. You got to pull all your chips in. That means taking all the actions, not taking actions, like whatever it is that is needed. You need to do those things, and it's no BS. You got to be all in.
Yeah, I've noticed even with high achievers, those can be problematic. I've had some of those where they are not so prone to following instructions. It's like, oh, I got this now. I know what you need. And then they'll go do something else. Like, it's like, no, hold off, easy, right. Foot off the pedal, put it on the brake, and follow the instructions like they were given to you. So do you have any kind of upfront filtration process when you're bringing on a new client to help ease that burden or make sure they're a fit for you and that that they're not going to become a problematic client, that they will get the results they came for? Because that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, I'm very, very diligent. I used to sign. Like, everybody's a good client. Let's go. that's how I got going. That was my initial burst, and that was huge. That was a great development place for me, and I did help a lot of people. But then again, there were some duds in there. Like, oh my god, I should have never worked with that person. At one level, I would say, and I know it's all good ultimately. Everybody learned whatever they need to learn, right? But then I've just became down to where I'd rather work with. Right now I'm looking at expanding and doing groups again and everything. I used to do pretty much exclusively groups, and now I do high level one-to-one. So what I do is I really have a deep vetting process in that. Some of the people come on my podcast, for example, have become clients. So we're building a relationship first that way. Or, I don't know, it's an intuitive thing for me. If I feel like I'm going to have fun and I'm going to feel like we can get results working together, and I just get that feeling more than anything that it's going to be good, then I'll do it. And I'll be like, okay, I'm not letting this one go until we get business done. Probably. Of course, it's their choice, but I'm just saying, like, I tend to go to that mode only now when I know someone's a fit. Now, if I don't know, then I tend to be quick to let it go. Like, I'm not sure. Okay, no, let's not do it. But all in with the people when I get that feeling, like, based on where you are and just the feeling I get with you and our connection, I feel like we're a good match. Because I've got to be a good match. And usually a good match means, again, someone who really cares, someone who's a high achiever type, will listen, like you said, like vetting, like, do they listen? Or are they going to fight everything? Now, it's okay if they fight some of the things I say. I run into that, of course. But if overall they tend to listen, then we've got the ability to accomplish things. Because they'll learn eventually. We're like, seems like I do better when I listen to Daniel rather than just go do something, right? So, yeah. But yeah, for me, it's more of an intuitive thing. I try to do all the checkbox stuff, but on the end of the day, it's more intuitive. And I really highly recommend people go really high level with your services and charge more and be more selective. If you're going to do one-to-one, for example, then it's just like to sign people up all the time. Like, it's not worth it. It's really not. Go for stellar. I mean, in my own opinion, okay? So go higher end, be more exclusive, to only serve so many people. And if you want to go bigger, fine, do the groups, do all the leverage, stuff. But yeah, otherwise, for me, I did groups for years, and these days I just been focused on one-to-one and building out other people's group stuff.
Yeah, I've run into a lot that they'll take anybody with a heartbeat and a credit card with enough room on it. And I'm like, no, that's going to cost you more anguish than it will provide you.
Hey, Brian, you got this show, and I can help you make more money out. Let's go, 10 grand, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's about the pitches sometimes.
Yeah. Man, we've got people coming in from all over the world watching us here right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't know how to pronounce her name. Nansikalelo, I hope, Masando.
A wonderful attempt. I think that might be close.
Yeah, she says good morning to you, and we're here in the evening. Yeah. So why does she say good morning? Because she says all the way from South Africa.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then I actually have a dear friend who is currently watching from China. Good morning from China, brother. And I talk about another very astute businessman, and he left the United States and he's been living in China for, it's been several years now, teaching English to Chinese students, young students in a university. He's always been a teacher and a very good one. So thanks, Dennis, for coming on. I appreciate that. And Jesse Spirit was sharing some love. So thank you for that, Jesse. Appreciate that as well. Yeah. And one of the things I love to ask every entrepreneur, every business person that comes on this show, Daniel, is, getting those clients is always super simple, right? Mm-hmm. It's like you just put out a post on Facebook and then you get like 10 clients.
Everybody jumps.
I'm being a little sarcastic.
I'm the guy, 25 grand. I'll show you to do one post a day, how you do it every single time.
Sign me up.
Right.
So one of the things I love to ask is, because here's the thing, it's all about marketing when it comes down to it. That's the lifeblood of any business. And what used to work, say 10, 15, 20 years ago does not work today. Yes. About 20 years ago, you could send out mass emails and make a lot of money.
Yep.
Now, people today are more discerning. They want to see a little something first. Well, to show, how do I know this is really going to work? So
Yeah.
then we became more, let's give them value first for free, and then maybe that will earn their trust. And even that doesn't work all the time. And I know there's one strategy that has worked from all stretches of time. I'm not going to give that away this second, because what I want to do is ask you, Daniel, right now, today, out of all the different marketing methods you've used over the years, today at this moment, it could be word of mouth, could be Facebook ads, could be social media, could be viral marketing, whatever it happens to be. For you, what is your number one marketing method that is the most successful for you and your business right now?
Yeah. I mean, I would say it's speaking, because I have a podcast, and most of my business currently, my personal business right now, runs through the podcast. Now, if I was focused on getting on stages like I have in the past, or doing webinars, or doing other methods that I've used before to gain clients, those are all speaking methods as well. And that's, or doing live events, retreats, etc. So I've done all these different things, but the common denominator is speaking, right? The people that really want to work with me really resonate with my energy when they hear me speak. I would say it's more energy than it is, oh, you specifically when you said this, sometimes, but it's more like, I don't know, it's just like, I felt like you could help me, right? So it's an energy connection that audiences make with me that pulls people forward. It's more probably connection, relationship kind of energy that gets built up, because I do really good in small settings too, speaking to people one-to-one, after a talk and things like that. And for me, for the kind of businesses I've been doing, that's been my best out of all of them. Not copy and ads, certainly not, or any of these other kind of methods. And every method is good. They can work well for any method could work well for people. But for me, I'm always looking at what aligns for each person. And for me, literally, the more stages I get on, if I were to commit to get on more stages beyond my podcast, which I've been beginning to do that now, then now that I have space to take more clients by developing something new, I'll be able to fill in more clients into more things that I offer. So I'll do more speaking now, right? So now it strategically makes sense. Whereas before I'm like, well, why? I don't really need to right now. It didn't excite me to do that. I always like to speak, but it wasn't a big like, oh, let's go, So now I'm like, let's have fun. Let's talk all day. Let's speak everywhere. And then it's, there is strategy involved. A lot of it is just from connection and more so than massively strategized, speaking.
Wow. That was it. Connection right there. I was curious as I got a frog in my throat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Let's take a moment and take a quick break so I can clear my throat, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. So don't go anywhere, anyone, because I have some really pointed question to ask Daniel Hanneman about his podcast journey. So don't go anywhere. Sit tight. We'll be right back. Hey, if you're watching the Mind Body Business Show live right now, then you will have the ability to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort of your choosing, compliments of the Big Insider Secrets. What is it? It is a 5-night vacation stay to one of many destinations across the world. You can see as we go through this very quickly, there's some in Branson and Daytona Beach. These are in the United States, all over the United States, New Orleans, San Diego. There's also Mexico. There's also the UK. I mean, it just keeps going on and on and on. Australia. At the end of this show, you will be given the ability to enter to win. You must be watching this live. If you're not watching live, then head on over to themindbodybusinessshow.com and register to receive automated notifications when we go live the next time. And you can also participate in this incredible prize. So come on live, and you do not want to miss a moment because of our incredible guest experts. And if you're struggling with putting a live show together and it's overwhelming and you want a lot of the processes done for you while still enabling you to put on a high quality show and connect with great people and grow your business all at the same time, then write this down: carpetbombmarketing.com. Then head on over to it after the conclusion of tonight's show. Carpet Bomb Marketing. Saturate the marketplace with your message. And to get a free lifetime membership to a phenomenal resource called the Reach Your Peak Club, your free membership will include instant access to deep discounts on major software, services, and top shelf training courses that you need to run your successful business. Think of it as your entrepreneur discount house. Catapult your business to the next level. Sign up for free now and get a hotel discount card worth $200 just for joining. Then go and grab your deep discounts. So write this down, and then after the show, once again, head on over to reachyourpeakclub.com. All right, now let's get back to the show. Yes, good Lord Almighty, let's get back to the show already. Who is that guy just yammering on forever? I finally got this throat issue taken care of. My goodness, I got a frog jump in there and just start a ribbit. We're good to go. And I'm really curious, Daniel, you're hitting all of the spots that are powered. They're charged for me because this is what I do for a living. And I do this. I do live video shows that are also commonly referred to as podcasts, even though they are live. But we do repurpose them to 35 podcast platforms and on and on. So when you said your number one form of marketing was podcasting, I'm curious, for you, what have you found works best, being a host of your own or being a guest on others? What has been more powerful for you?
Well, I haven't focused on being a guest on other podcasts as much yet, but it's part of my growth strategy going forward for my own podcast and also for my overall business, directly for my business. So that is going to be increasing going forward. But it definitely has been in my own show. Most people, one of the questions I thought you might ask me about is having a successful customer base, right? And just looking at some preview questions that you were talking about. So, and one of my things is, again, when people come on my show, it's a small percentage of people, but some of those people become clients of mine that are the actual guests. It's not the audience so much that necessarily is becoming my clients, because usually the people listening in, sometimes they're my market and sometimes they're not, but the people that come out on my show tend to more likely at least be my market. And a lot of them aren't a fit, but it doesn't take that many because a successful customer base is one that you serve well. They want to stay with you, I just love, like, one of my greatest joys was recently getting a testimonial from that fellow I was talking about who is tripling his business this year. He said he's a permanent member of my team. That's very emotional for me. I'm like, wow, that level of trust. And other clients of mine are like, oh my God, what's it take to retain you further? That kind of energy, and literally like, oh my God, are you going to double or triple my rates, or, things like that, because you're providing so much value, right? In the value of the support they get and the results, whatever it is for them, like all those things. So when you hear that, like, one of the things is people are so busy trying to get new customers. But what about serving your existing customers better first?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, great. Let's expand. But you want to expand your business, serve the people in front of you first fully. I think that gets missed in this marketplace with coaching and healing and thought leadership. Like sometimes it gets lost, like, oh shit, let's just get some more people in, we're getting a lot of complaints. Oh, whatever, that's their problem. All right, let's get on to the next crowd. It's like, well, maybe it's something to do with you too. Like, look in the mirror, look at, like, are you really giving the most value you can? And that's the number one thing. So I'm sorry I expanded, the topic, but, it's been primarily through my own podcasts where clients have flowed for me in recent years.
That's interesting, because I interviewed a gentleman by the name of Seth Green some time ago. He interviewed me. We did a show swap, if you will. And he happens to be a partner with Kevin Harrington. And that is the guy who's famed as being one of the original sharks on Shark Tank. And so they have a podcast that they do together called Sharkpreneur Podcast. And Kevin isn't always on them as a co-host. He does that one every 4 episodes or so back then. They've done close to 1,000 episodes. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember asking him a similar question, and he said what they do in his podcast, they're not looking for the vanity numbers. They're not looking for the likes, the loves, the downloads, and all that. He said what they are doing is very similar to what you are doing, and it's also the exact same strategy I'm implementing, and that is they strategically pick out the guests. Again, they're not all going to be a perfect fit,
Right.
and then those become the market for them for doing business, and it happens organically. You just through conversation, so you're not selling or pitching, and it just happens because most of every business, especially when it's a higher ticket item, it's a relationship business. And if you don't get along with that person, if you don't feel that, you were talking about it earlier, you felt it, you had this, you knew that there was an attraction factor of some kind between the two of you, and that has to be there, or the business probably won't transpire between the two of you. And if it does, it's probably not going to go too well.
Right.
So it's very similar because so many that come to me, it's like, I want a podcast, Brian, show me how to do it. It's like, what do you want it for? I want to sell my stuff on it. I said, I'm the wrong guy for you. That's not the way you do it. You do it by showing value and interviewing other people, and in that process the sales will occur, but not when you're front loading with just come buy my crap. It's not a marketing platform itself, it's a relationship building platform. And so you get it, Daniel, and that's why I was asking those questions. Like, you're right down the middle of the pipe, we would say in baseball, Steve Riker. So and another thing was a very close friend of mine that has become a podcast phenom. He's actually stepping away from coaching on podcasting. He's already crushed it in his own right, but he said a lot of his business came from, and he said probably more came from being a guest on other podcasts. That's why I asked you that question.
Yeah.
If you haven't even really gone down that path, okay, you're
I'm
gonna
going
have
to expand a lot once I go down that path now
yeah.
more. So yeah, and this is part of it. That's why I'm here. Like I'm looking,
Yes.
I start setting attention. I start looking more. I start more and more starts happening, and that's how it builds. So yeah, it's the sky's the limit of what's possible when you're. I think speaking is probably still one of the best ways to build your business. Period. Yeah, it always will be. I think, and even with AI and all this other stuff, I still think like people just speaking, getting on some sort of stage speaking is always going to be, if not the best, one of the best ways ever to get new business, because it's the connection that people feel in that matters.
And I would agree, because that one that I was talking about, that one form of marketing that has withstood the test of all time, is relationship building, is building relationships. And the reason that so many, including yours truly, would shy away from that, especially back 15, 20 years ago, is because, well, I could send an email blast to thousands of people and get lots of sales, or I could spend hours and hours and hours establishing a relationship with one person and maybe not get a sale. And so it was about efficiency. But when the rubber meets the road, it's about establishing relationships and speaking, podcasting, live video, on stage, all three, and there are probably more, are very effective in people getting to feel you from that vantage point, and they're already, that know, like, and trust factor, that golden thing is establishing. And then you take it to the next level, and then you talk one-on-one like you're doing with your clients. And so many people like you and myself have gone the high ticket route, so that we can put more effort into each individual, but still be compensated appropriately for the time we're putting in. And so I think what you're doing is phenomenal. And my gosh, I just look at the time. It happens every time, Daniel. It just like flies.
Why is this like that?
My goodness. So okay, many folks along the journey of being an entrepreneur, they have to give up some things to become successful. I mean, it's either you give up some things, or you just forget about it. Don't even become an entrepreneur, because things do have to be kind of left behind. And for you, going through this journey, what kind of sacrifices, if you will, or things that that you had to leave behind that stand out to you, that needed to be done for you to achieve the success that you have?
Well, I think, like, for me, it has to do with being willing to financially risk everything. For example, you have to be willing to leave security behind. It's nothing probably new idea here, but like, yeah, you have to be willing to let it go. I mean, and be, again, all in. It's about, your insistent, your yes to what it is that you want to bring forth ultimately. And yes, people always say, oh, it's about the client, stupid, and all that. Yeah, but if it's not something you're connected to, it ain't going to happen, stupid, so to speak. So it's like, you've got to really be into it. You've got to really be, for whatever, stand for your mission. For me, I'm for fun and sovereignty and truth, and all these sorts of things are part of my makeup, part of my values, and integrity, leadership come to mind as well. So this whole profile of different, values I have, and one of my major things in my business is to keep communicating those values. So you have to be willing to leave possibly behind old relationships as well, right? You have to be willing, at least to be willing. I remember when I first started doing spiritual work and doing, what we call channeling, tuning in and channeling stuff. I remember, I didn't lose them as a friend, but they were like, oh, it sounds like you're just making stuff up, and she sounds like you or whatever. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I mean, okay, maybe. But I don't see it that way exactly, but okay, to each their own. It's okay. Or just people getting upset, saying, hey, you're too assertive, you're too aggressive, you're too much for the money in your business. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, if I'm not looking to make money in my business, why do I have a business? I mean, it is part of it. You have to be after the money to a degree, but the people that complain about that are the people that have issues with money, have issues with their power, that can't come around with that stuff, right? So I'm the good one. I don't charge, and I charge little for my services, and oh, congratulations, you're broke, like, and you're not helping as many people or as impactfully ultimately in the long run. Likely. Okay, likely. Again, I'm not an absolutist with everything, but so yeah, just people that have jealousy and they project things on you and everything, you have to just let that go. Okay, great. What I've done a lot of times with that, because even good colleagues and friends will have a reaction to some things I post sometimes, whatnot. And what usually happens is I talk with them about it because of the way I am. We actually work through the energy. We find common ground, agree. Well, where do we agree on a certain issue, and we come closer together. So you have to be willing to lose people. And I remember, in my email marketing, telling people to unsubscribe. I'm like, unsubscribe from my list. If you are not getting value from opening these emails, I want you to unsubscribe today. Like, people thought I was insane doing that, but like, sometimes you have to get really strong and definitive and be like, I'm standing for something. I'm willing to lose everything. And that's the energy you want to be in. And you got to be willing to lose everything. I know, like, sometimes people use that to manipulate others. Come on, get out that credit card, lose everything. I don't mean that kind of crazy, but like, you got to be willing to and stand in that strength, and then follow what you know to be true for yourself. If it feels like, yeah, I probably should be doing this, then just go for it. Don't look. You got one. It's like you got one shot all the time. It's like you constantly have that one shot in life, and I got to keep going for that one shot. Keep shooting. And it reminds me. I'll say one last thing, and I'll quit going on. But like you said it earlier about failure, so-called failure. It's like I love Michael Jordan. Admire completely. For how he performed. And he said, which everybody's heard this that's follows sports. It's like, I failed so many times, so that's why I succeed, right? Like that commercial, probably Nike commercial, I guess. But like, anyway, he said that, and that's so true. It's like we're busy counting like how few our wins are, but how many times were you willing to lose? If you're willing to lose a lot, you're going to win a lot. So just remember that. You got to be willing to have the experience of like, oh, I'm going to lose a lot, but you're not really losing anything. You're losing all your BS, and then you're going to gain a lot in the process.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, they equate losing with being wrong, and nobody wants to be wrong.
Right.
And in both cases, the number one thing I found that is causing this is it's a cancer, I call it, to success, and that is our respective egos. And that's it. I mean, once we can figure out a way to kind of suppress our own egos, and great ways to do that are to actually go out and get help, like Daniel Hanneman. That's a perfect example. He would be a perfect coach to help anyone to propel their life farther forward. And look, Michael Jordan, the best of the best, the best, Tiger Woods, they all had, every single one of them had a coach or coaches that helped them, that held them accountable, that kept them going, that would see things that they themselves couldn't see, to say, we need to change, put your elbow in a little more, or you need to have your backswing come back a little higher, things that you can't see that will propel you faster, farther, and just be willing to accept that you need help. Because once you decide that you are going to get the help, and be willing to pay for it, by the way, and the more the better, because the more skin you have in the game, the more you're going to follow the instructions, and the more you're going to get the results you went for. And so be willing to do all that and hire Daniel as a start and get moving in the right direction. And he did not come on here thinking I would pitch him. And that's not, I am only recommending things that I think will take everybody here watching and listening to the next level, because I've been through so much of myself. Every time I got a coach, every time I got assistance, it paid off. Are you going to hit a home run with every coach? Are you going to find the right person every single time? No, but be sure to get to know that person. Make sure you're a fit with that. Daniel's looking at you to see if you're a fit with him, as an example, and you will do the same thing. If you're not a fit, Daniel, knowing him, will probably say, well, I do know someone else that does something similar. I will send you.
Do that today, Brian. Just do that today.
Yeah. And so it's not a competition. It's not me or I'm the end all be all. But whatever you need, if you need help, reach out to someone like Daniel. He'll find you the right help. If it's him, it'll be him. If it's not, I'm sure he has many connections that he can point you into. Maybe you need something completely different, but you'll find that out. You won't find that out until you reach out and start the conversation. That's what it really takes. Don't be nervous. You can see Daniel, he doesn't look like he bites. And even if he does, it's going to be through the screen. You won't feel it.
I tend to build a relationship before I start biting a little bit. Like,
yeah. And when it comes to that, though, it's tough love. And
right,
that's necessary. If you were the soft person that just said, oh, good job, you'll do better next time. It's like, I don't want you as a coach. I want somebody that's going to get in my face when I need someone to get in my face.
right.
Not like every day, but
Right.
when there's correction necessary.
Right.
If I screwed up, I want to know and I want to be corrected and move forward. It's just the only way you get results.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I love calling people out. I'm like, okay, you've been talking about doing this for weeks. Like, all right, what's going on? Like, the polar caps are going to melt by the time we get this thing done. Now, what are you going to do about it? People that are really committed, like, eventually they just crack. They're just like, all right, I'll do it. They can't stand to live with themselves, knowing that they're blowing it every day. They can't live with themselves, which it's good in moving them forward. So yeah.
I love it. I love it. We are coming to the end here, so I have a couple of gifts to give away. Don't want to forget about those. And that one was a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. And that is actually sponsored by my company now, called Reach Your Peak. And these are not fly-by-night little jaunts that you then end up being taken to the basement, water drip tortured, and pitched into a timeshare. It is not that at all. It is a legitimate, bona fide vacation stay. And I know this is because a very dear friend of mine, he himself went on 3 of these trips to the 3 different locations. And each and every time he said, I was just like another guest there, and my whole resort was paid for. All I had to do was for the resort fees, taxes, and travel to and from. That was it. So we're going to give that in just a second. And then Daniel has a gift for you all. In fact, let's do that first. Let's do that right now. Daniel has a gift for everyone here. And literally all you need to do is go to his main website. I'll put that up on the screen and say it verbally so all of you listening can hear it as well. But here is the website. Nope, that's not it.
That's a picture of the gift, though.
I got it. There we go. That is the website, and I'll bring that up, is called yoursacredpurpose.com. YOUR sacredpurpose.com. So write that down. Definitely visit it when you're done listening to the show, watching the show. And then what you want to do is head on over to that site and scroll down a little bit, almost to the middle of the page. And you'll see, if you're watching this on video, see what you see on the screen. And it's where it says get instant access to a free guided meditation and report on 4 ways to meditate and make money. You have a few words you'd like to put on that?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. Yeah, honest to God, guys, if you commit to listening to that meditation every day, you're going to start feeling better. You're going to find you're vibrationally higher and more connected, and you will find new miracles, new blessings, new money, and new business ideas, new innovations. You will find that you just need to listen to it consistently. I think she's still listening to it. I had someone say they're listening for like 2-3 years. So I just keep making more money, and I know like I'm doing other things, but I know that's part of it. I just keep making more money, and it's like so I know it works for the people to actually commit themselves to it. So definitely take advantage of it and learn how you can utilize the power of being connected, in every moment more to get the downloads. Like often the best ideas do come in the shower. Also like, whoa, oh my God. So how do you listen better? How do you allow yourself to be a conduit for those downloads energetically and with the ideas and everything? So, because I don't know, for me, I don't know about you, Brian. Sometimes something comes to me, it's almost like dictation. It's like, just do this, do that, do that. Okay, that'll work. And we want to be prepared for that.
Yeah, we want to have our radio tuned to the right channel to listen and receive and then actually take action on it. So that's perfect stuff. Yoursacredpurpose.com. Scroll down almost to the middle of the page and fill out the form to get yours. I'm doing that right after the show myself. I'm not kidding. And that's one thing, another great perk about having a show of your own, a podcast, is the sheer resources that come through from your guests that I myself have taken action on. That's the other thing about podcasts. You can get clients from it. At the same time, you will become clients of some of your guests. It just happens because they have things that, wow, I could use that. I've done that many times.
It just happened with me, Brian. I just hired somebody that was on my show. So it happens both ways sometimes. It's just whatever fits, whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's what I always preach is like that your show is not your business. It's not a transactional vehicle. It's a relationship vehicle. Transactions occur on the back end organically as a result. That's it's actually beautiful because it's the way it was meant to be, not the way it was forced to be.
Right, exactly.
And so I really love that about it. And so also I got a giveaway for the vacation stay. And real quick though, Daniel, before I wanted to just kind of preface this one, I like to end every show with a very what I call profound question. I started doing this on occasion, randomly. I'd ask this one question of guests at different times during the show. And I'm like, wow, each time I realized the answers were incredibly interesting and profound. And I'm like, huh. And so finally I decided I'm going to close every show out with it. And it's a very powerful question. And I can't wait to spring it upon you. But real quick, we're going to now show folks who are watching live, you have to be watching live for this, how to win that 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. And I'll put it up on the screen. Write this down. You do not have to go to it this second. We will be monitoring this after the show. You have 30 minutes to an hour to enter after the show. So write this URL down. Here it comes on the screen. For those of you watching live, it's ryp.im/vacation, all lowercase. So RYP, that stands for Reach Your Peak, which is my company, .im/vacation. So go head on over there after we sign off for the evening and be sure to enter to win. And I can't wait to see who that lucky winner is going to be because it is a phenomenal giveaway. And now, oh yes, the fun part. Daniel Hanneman is going to answer a very profound question here in just a moment. That's if he chooses to. I mean, he can choose not to. It's his choice. But with all that hype and hoopla, do you think that's something that you're open
sure.
to?
Now I have a bated breath. I got to know what the question is.
I love it. All right. Then let's get to it. Here we go. Daniel Hanneman, how do you define success?
Oh, interesting. I get a spotlight on this one. Okay, so how do I define success? That's a really interesting question. I haven't been asked that one in a while. I would say, again, it comes back to what I started the show with. I would define success with really first being connected. Are you really connected with the life source energy inside you? The essence of who you are, first and foremost. And it's what my website's Your Sacred Purpose. So your sacred purpose is to live from that space, and then it's to do what you've come here to do. There is so success is realizing your inner purpose, is being connected and being appreciative and grateful and all those other things that goes with being connected. And then your outer purpose has to do with realizing like what your specific thing is you're here to do. Are you here to set the world afire with a specific truth that you're here to share, or are you here to heal people in certain ways, certain types of people? What kind of healing are you here to bring? What kind of transformation are you here to bring? Are you bringing that forth? Are you bringing it forth as strongly as you possibly can, within that sense of that connection and presence? And are you doing it in a way that raises everybody up, raises the energy and the consciousness up in the world, and also produces prosperity for your business, prosperity that doesn't have, an absolute ceiling necessarily. It can continue to grow and to be as prosperous as possible, realizing really anybody who's, interested can develop those, whatever, 7, 8 figure, whatever, whatever level business that you want. But that's kind of the cherry on top to me. It does show some level of actualization. But I think if you don't have the inner purpose, the outer purpose will, on an individual level especially, will ring hollow. We know a lot of people, me and Brian, I'm sure, that have lots of money and they're very miserable. They do great businesses, but that make a lot of money, but they're miserable. Maybe they're not in integrity. Maybe, who knows? They're not in integrity somewhere. So you got to be in integrity, live your inner and outer purpose fully, manifest everything from there, and enjoy. So that would be my, one of my definitions for success.
Fantastic. You know how we have to close out this show then, don't you? That's right. Daniel Hanneman. He is full of smart bombs of wisdom. They're flying by twice just because, and my goodness, incredible show. We'll bring you back over here. And I appreciate you, my brother. You've been phenomenal. You brought on incredible value, as I knew you would. Promised it to the peeps, and you came through with my promise. So I appreciate that. And with that, I just want to say again, thank you very much for spending your valuable time here, Daniel. And everyone, implore upon you to go and get that free gift for sure. Again, that web address is yoursacredpurpose.com. And this is Daniel Hanneman, the business alchemist. And you definitely want to connect with this man at a deeper level because he's got your best interests at heart, and he will take you by the hand and take you right on through to success. And I can't wait to hear about all these success stories that come as a result of that. So, Daniel, any last parting words of advice for anyone real quick?
Break on through to the other side. That breakthrough thing, it comes to mind. Absolutely. Break on through the other side, you guys. It's just an illusion that you're stuck or whatever stories. If you're telling yourself stories, it's just break on through to the other side, just with your intention, just with being clear. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to expand. I'm going to my next level. Just be committed to it. Be all in. And it absolutely will happen. No, 100%.
Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Hanneman. All right. On behalf of this amazing man, I am Brian Kelly, the host of the Mind Body Business Show. And until we meet again next time, please do at least these 2 things. Number 1, go out and continue to crush it and serve more people so that more people can become successful. And then number 2, above all and everything, please be blessed. That is it for us. We are signing out. Have a great evening, everybody. We'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in to the Mind Body Business Show podcast at www.themindbodybusinessshow.com. My name is Brian Kelly.